Eastern Conference. Easily. Game 1 sent the message. They were already one of the top defensive teams in the league last season, even without Jalen Suggs for most of the year, even with the fact that their trio missed a ton of games last year. The Desmond Bain effect is real. That showed out the gate. They shot 40% from beyond the arc as a team. Desmond Bain knocked down 3 of 4 threes in this game. They had 4 players knock down at least 2 or more threes. The trio of Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Desmond Bain combined for 70 points. And they just made plays when they needed to. Shout out to Wendell Carter Jr. His stat line won't wow you. He had 9 points, 8 rebounds, a block and a steal. But he had some timely rebounds, and more importantly, he was so effective on the offensive glass, a +5 on the offensive glass. The hustle stats were the glaring thing for Wendell Carter Jr. This team has size. This team plays hard. This team is not afraid to be aggressive as a driving team. They're getting 3-pointers up now. At least, again, it's only game 1. Don't want to oversell it, but hear me out. They're getting 3-point shots up now. They have a tertiary scorer who can back up Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. Paolo was he was very slow to the party in this game. He finished the game with 24 and 11. It wasn't as cute as it seemed. Shot 7 of 17 from the floor and really struggled in the first half. I think he went into halftime with like 7 points. Really struggled in the first half, but Desmond Bain and Franz Wagner were both in double figures. Last season, that would have really cost them. Paolo Banchero being in single digits at halftime. This season, they have a guy to pick the slack up. They featured Desmond Bain early and often. He had two of his 3 knockdown threes came in the first half. He led the team with 18 field goal attempts. Now, Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner were right behind him with 17 apiece, but you could just tell that not only Jamal Mosley, but Paolo and Franz particularly went out of their way to work in screen and roll actions, pick and pop options to get Desmond Bain freed up and also just get a 2-man action established with him early and often throughout this game. You could tell there was a lot of emphasis on getting Desmond Bain not just acclimated, but featuring him openly and saying like, yo, you are going to be one of our guys. And you would say, well, bro, look at all of the trade assets they gave up to get Desmond Bain. He better be. Yeah, but when you look at what he was brought in for and the main issue that he's meant to resolve, it's very easy to find yourself trying to turn Desmond Bain into a spot-up 3-point shooter. Because that's what they needed, right? That's what they tried to get out of KCP last year. That's what they try to get out of Jalen Suggs to a lesser degree. Granted, he was a 37 to 40% 3-point shooter last season when healthy and the season before that. But like, he was the only guy who could really hit a 3-ball at a high clip for this team. So Desmond Bain, you bring him in, he's a career 40% 3-point shooter. You just ask him to be Duncan Robinson. You could do that. But we know that Desmond has more ability on ball than that. And more importantly, we know that he's a guy that as a third scorer is going to be getting the third best defender on a night-to-night basis because of the respect that Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner require on that side of the ball. So the fact that Desmond is so good on ball now in terms of his shot creation, something he was able to develop playing so much in Memphis without Ja Morant because of either Ja Morant's suspensions or the fact that he seemed to be injured a lot on a year-to-year basis, especially these last 2 years. Him being the third option on this team, it's just an element they've never had before. By the way, Tristan Da Silva comes off the bench, 16 points, knocked down 3 threes himself. Looks like he could be a real X factor for this team. Jalen Suggs, he was questionable coming into this game. Ended up starting the game, played in limited minutes, 16 minutes in the game. Oh, just 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 of 7 from the field, and knocked down 2 threes. Like, they're getting it from everywhere. They're getting it from everywhere. Again, one game. But if there was one thing that I could say to summarize game one of the Orlando Magic with this new trio, it's that the Desmond Bane effect is real. Is it gonna still have its growing pains here and there? Yes. But it's so helpful that Desmond has this background of playing next to two guys who do need the ball in their hands to be effective on offense, in John Morant, and to a lesser degree, Jaren Jackson Jr., who developed a lot more on ball when John Morant was out as well, but a guy that is not your, prototypical dangerous stretch big. Like, he can shoot the three, but Jaren Jackson Jr. is not as much of a knockdown 3-point shooter as people love to try to describe him as. Desmond has been the third guy on a team before next to two guys that just need the ball to be effective. So him gelling with these guys, I think, is going to be so much easier than most, big three trios usually are when they first get together. And game one, I think, was a really good representation that, like, not only is this Orlando Magic team going to be good, but I think they're going to be dangerous early. Like, I think they're going to set the tone in the Eastern Conference. Them and the Knicks. I think Cleveland can be good too, but they have issues with Darius Garland right now that until he gets back, their point guard depth is kind of the biggest question mark for them. The Orlando Magic and the Knicks are going to set the tone for the Eastern Conference, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'm calling it right now. I think that the Orlando Magic are going to be like 16-4 in their first like 20 games. Go look at their schedule. They've got a very favorable schedule with their first 3 games of the season all being at home, and then their first road game is against Philadelphia, which, no disrespect to them, VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey, great season debuts, but the size and physicality of this Orlando Magic team against that team with Joel Embiid looking like a shell of himself right now, like, just the first handful of games look like the Orlando Magic have a chance to like start out 4-0, 5-0 to kick off the season. I think they're going to be like 16-4 through their first 20 games. Orlando is, they're coming, man. This year is going to be a big year for the Orlando Magic. Mark my words.